Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. This is Randall Via, currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Currently being housed at King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia, in the USA. Welcome to my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me today. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888 524-1932. For anyone outside the continental U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1 and you're good to go. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot, at www.redonionrandy.com. We also have some merch up there. So far, it's just a hoodie and a T-shirt with my logo and everything. You can find that link on my website. I hope you support me. You can also find me on X at Red Onion Randy. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Today, I'm going to discuss religion. Now, relax and don't change the channel. I'm not going to preach at you. I'm not going to, discuss the different merits of religion, versus religion and so on and so forth. I've made no bones about it. I am a Christian. That's the belief system that, I believe in for various reasons, which I will not go into on this platform. But religion is a huge, huge subject in prison. And you have your three main religions, which would be Christianity, Islam, and Asatru, which is also known as Odinism. Now, your Christianity encompasses all race, backgrounds, it doesn't matter. Islam is predominantly black inmates, and Odinism is all whites. No other races are allowed to to participate in Odinism. They're not allowed to go over to the meetings. They're not allowed to wear the hammer. So on and so forth. That causes a lot of problems. But it's something religion is really coming to the forefront of a lot of prison politics. Simply because of the shape of the world, the political divide here in America, it's not just on the streets. It's in prison too. You have fights over it. You have stabbings over it. You actually have people getting killed over it. That's a little rare. That's one of them, once a year type of deals. However, it does happen, and it will continue to happen because you have a lot of people in here. They don't know how to respect another man's religion. As a matter of fact, we just had a case like 2 days ago in the pod that I'm in. You know, you've got a guy in here, I'm not going to say his name. He's into Odinism. You know, he's a Viking. He's a big white boy. And he wears a Thor's hammer. And you have this little black guy. And he's a bit of a clown. Not because he's black, just because that's his personality. Like, he's a bit of a clown. You know, he likes to joke. He likes to have fun. And he's got some shady shit with him. And, you know, he pulled up on a dude like, hey, man, how do I get one of them right there pointing at the dude's hammers? And he just looked at him and said, you will never get one of them. Oh, man, I can't wear this, man. Like, well, why can't I wear it? And the dude looked at him and he said, man, why are you talking to me? He said, man, I fucking hate you and everything you stand for. And, I mean, like, it almost became a problem. And, you know, the little dude just took one huge step backwards, you know. And, like, but you have people that they don't think. They don't. You know, it's like, okay, for example, I've told this story before. Now, remember, I was really, really, really young at the time I did this. I was at Buckingham when I first came to the prison system. And I was going down the boulevard into the library, and you know, a black Muslim came out, and you know, he said "Assalamu alaikum," and I honestly didn't know what he said, but I was also a smart ass at the time, and I didn't care. And you know, I told him, yeah, my mama drives a Cadillac too, and the dude got pissed. You know, I mean, he didn't make nothing of it. But, like, he was still upset, and understandably so, and rightfully so. I was being a smart ass. But you have a lot of that happens, and, you know, some people, they can let stuff like that slide. And some people, to them, it's life or death. Like, their belief system means everything to them. But you also have a lot of people that they use religion as a crutch. They use religion as a shield. You know, especially among Christianity. You know, the Muslims. You got a lot of guys in Islam in prison that it's just another gang. That's a way for them to use the phone, you know, to be able to, because, you know, a lot of the Muslims in prison, they take care of their own. That's one thing I do like about the Muslims in prison. You don't have hungry Muslims. You know, those who have, they give to those who don't. You know, you see them eating and building all the time. You don't have that among Christianity. You know, you have a few guys that, you know, will help out those less fortunate. I'm one of those myself. But in Christianity, like, it really is, like, most of the guys, I would probably say 90% of the people in prison who claim Christianity are fake. You know, they're doing it because to them, it's a game. To them, you have guys that will stand up for them, guys that will protect them, guys that will help them out. You know, there's nothing wrong with needing help. But there is something wrong with it when you join for ulterior motives. Like, if it's the thing, I don't hang out with Christians in prison. I don't want to be a part of them. I don't want to be associated with Christians in prison at all, because I have a reputation and I'm going to maintain that reputation. Like, there's guys in here, like, they're literally sitting at the table right now. You know, they're doing their little preaching thing and they're getting all loud, and you know, they're doing their prayer circles, prayer call, and you know, they come out and they sing at 6 o'clock in the morning while people are trying to sleep. You know, I don't mind if you want to sing. By all means, go ahead. don't do it at 6 o'clock in the damn morning. And don't do it at the top of your lungs. But they've got that holier than thou. They wanna be seen. They want to be recognized. So for any of you who are writing people, in prison, and they talk about, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm this and that. Yeah, it sounds good, but that's all it does, is sound good. And it causes problems. That's like, I believe in what I believe in, and I make no apologies for it, and I'm going to stand on it. I believe in what I believe in. I just don't preach it. I don't push it at someone. I don't go around trying to engage people in conversations. My belief is my belief, and it's between me and my God. Right or wrong, it's between me and my God. Now, if somebody asks me a question, I will answer. But even then, it makes me uncomfortable. Because it's nobody's business but my own. But you got a lot of fake dudes in here, and that's really been bothering me the last couple of months. I'm in a great prison. I'm in the best prison I've ever been in. There's a few things about this place that I would change if I could, absolutely. However, this is the best prison I've ever been in, but yet I'm seeing a whole lot of fakeness. Like, you've got this group called Kairos that comes into prison, and I've got a beef with them. And honestly, I've kind of thought about going over there, signing up, and going over there just so I can say something to them. Because when they come in, they bring cookies and cakes and pies and coffee and tea and juice and whatnot. And you're bribing guys to come over there and listen to Christianity. Like, that is wrong. Like, guys are going over there just to eat some cookies and drink coffee and whatnot for free. Do you really want somebody to join your group, to join your organization, to join your belief system for cookies and coffee? Like, how can you trust them? How can you believe in their sincerity when you have to pay them to believe what you believe in? You can't. It's impossible. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not bashing Christianity. I am a Christian. I actually live it, though. That's the difference between me and a lot of these other dudes. I do the best I can. I'm not perfect. I fail far more than I succeed. But I'm in the fight. I'm struggling to overcome some of my faults, overcome some of my weaknesses in the way, I used to think, and the way I used to believe and act, and so on and so forth. My Christianity is actually making me a better person. Slowly, but it's working. That and my own desire to just not be, a young-ass punk anymore. But you got the same thing in Islam. Like, you got some dudes that are legit. You got some dudes that are real. But the overwhelming majority of the people who claim Islam in prison, they're using it as a game. They're using it as a shield. I kind of wish that religion would be banned in prison. I know that'll never happen, and it can't happen, simply because, I'm allowed 13 books. One of those books can be a religious text. So, if I buy a Bible or somebody sends me one, then there's nothing the Department of Corrections can do about it. But I really think that they should get rid of all religious services in prison. Because, like,
when guys go over to the chaplain for their religious services, they're not going over there to actually hold services. They're going over to talk to their homeboys from another building, from other pods that they don't get to see through the regular course of the day or the week. You know, they go over there to pass stuff. You know, they take care of a lot of business opportunities during that time. I have a problem with people being fake. Like, if you have a person who's sincere in their belief, but yet they really, really struggle, they constantly fail, you know, they just can't seem to get right, like, I can respect that. I will get behind that person and do everything I can to motivate and encourage and help that person, give them as much advice as I can, you know, be there for them, take them under my wing. But I don't have a single person like that in the pod I'm in. I'm so fed up with fake people. I'm so fed up with people using a belief as a crutch, as a tool of manipulation, as a tool to get something. And they don't even realize they make it worse for everybody else. How many of these dudes are writing organizations? Like, I've known people who have thousands of dollars, and they'll write to these little Christian organizations. You know, they'll write to Muslim organizations or Jewish organizations or whatever, you know, whatever they happen to be involved in. Hell, some people write all 4, 5, or 6 of them. You know, and they ask, hey, can you send me $20? Like, I'm really struggling in here. I need to buy some hygiene. And, like, you know, my family just, they don't have it for whatever reason, you know. And, you know, like these places, you know, they would, you know, they don't really do it anymore, but they used to send money a lot, you know, to help guys. And guys would just manipulate them. They didn't need it. They just simply stealing to be stealing because that's who they are. But yet, they'll be standing in the pod preaching the gospel or preaching Muhammad or whoever, you know, at the top of their damn lungs, holier than thou. Like, I have a buddy of mine, when he left the gangs, he wanted some structure. He wanted, like, that bond, like that kind of family atmosphere that he had in the gangs. So when he got out, he went to Christian services. And you had this one guy, this preacher, was up there, and I mean, he was denouncing homosexuality. I mean, he was saying, you were going to burn in hell, you no good piece of blah. I'm like, he's Hellfire Brimstone on homosexuality. Dude sitting there listening to it, okay, you know, he doesn't really believe in homosexuality himself. So he come back to the pod after services and everything, and later that night, you know, he's in the pod. I mean, he's in the cell next door to this guy who's doing the preaching. And he'd been kind of talking to some of them and, you know, seeing what they're about, you know, just, you know, trying to get a gauge for their character, their personality, you know, whether they believe, so on and so forth. And that night, the guy that was preaching against homosexuality, his cellie was bending him over, having that dude screaming like, oh, yeah, give it to me, Daddy, off me. I mean, he told me this story, and he was like, man, that's why I walked away from Christian services. Like, that's why I joined the Muslim services, because, like, you don't have this in Muslim services. I had to sit there and tell him, bro, like, I don't mean to burst your bubbles, man, but you got, you know, undercover homosexual Muslims in prison. You got homosexual undercover everything in prison. Odinism, Jews, it don't matter. You know, but he was like, but that's the reason why he never went back to Christian services, and he wound up actually joining Islam because he felt that it was more structured, that it was more, you know, more real. Which I kind of understand. Like, that's the stuff you deal with in here when it comes to religions in prison. My opinion, you got maybe maybe 10 to 15% of the dudes who claim religion, any kind of religion, any kind of belief system, that are legit and sincere with it and trying to do it. And I can understand, like, it's tough to live. It's tough to live by.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It's tough to live by religious belief in prison. It's tough to live in prison, period, because you got all kinds of crap that's going on in here daily. But that's my take on religion in prison. Right or wrong, accept it or don't. I gave it to you straight, and that's all I can do.
I appreciate you folks listening to me. Remember, if you want to leave some feedback on the show or, ask a question or whatnot, again, that number inside the continental U.S. is 1-888-524-1932. Anyone outside the U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1. Works just the same. You can also visit me my website at redonionrandy.com or find me on X at redonionrandy. You don't have to, but if you want to, wherever you listen to my podcast, go on and give me some stars, or whatever is appropriate for that platform. I'll take whatever you can give me and be damn grateful for it. But, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the podcast. I'm trying to reach more people. I'm trying to get my voice out there to help people. The crazy thing is I actually am helping people. And in the process, I'm helping myself. So do what you can. And don't forget, I got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and maybe some other merch coming soon. You can find the link on the website, redonionrandy.com. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for using GTL.